Awesome.
Everybody turn your mics on. I think we're ready, right? Everybody ready?
Move to open the meeting at 7:00.
Hold on a second, because I just need to get the go-ahead from,
He said we were good to go.
we are, okay.
Yes.
All right, go
Yep,
ahead,
you are.
Terry, say it again.
Move to open the meeting at 7:00.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Whoa!
Oh, Fred.
We don't have anybody remote. Hi, Fred. Everybody's here tonight. Second meeting in a row.
I think it's time for somebody to retire.
No, we can't.
Huh?
You
Can you
can't
do me a favor and
retire.
take our picture?
Why can't you retire?
That's a good idea.
Well, if you want to, I mean, Jill might be glad to take.
She might.
She would be glad to take your
She's
place.
champing at the bit. She's saying one of these old fogies gonna give it up.
Read my mind.
It's not common for all seven of us to be here.
Everybody say wetlands.
Wetlands. Thank you for doing that.
That was funny.
I appreciate it.
Now, having just taken the ethics exam, we can't show you any special favor for doing that. So
All right.
just did it out of the kindness of your heart.
So welcome to the February 12th, 2025 meeting of the Groveland Conservation Commission. And we've got a couple of public hearings tonight. And then we've just got some updates, and that will be about it. So we'll start with the first public hearing, and I'll make a motion to open the hearing, to reopen the hearing for 301 Main Street, notice of intent.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all right, so this is continued from our meeting in January, and a couple of things. We were supposed to have a site visit, but we, in speaking with the wetland person from Hayes Engineering, decided to cancel it because of the snow on the ground. And unfortunately, there's still snow on the ground. And also included in your packet is a response back and forth between the applicant's representative and DEP. So that's new. So you can take a quick look at that if you want to. Let's see. Who's on for the applicant? Is that Libby?
Yes, this is Libby.
Okay.
All right, for the record, my name is Libby Wallace from Hayes Engineering. I am Hayes Engineering's wetland scientist. As you said, it's a continued hearing, and we did submit more information prompted by the DEP comments that we received. One of the comments was that they thought the preliminary FEMA mapping was required and asked us to look at it. We did, and found that while the mapping showed the preliminary 100-year flood further into our work area, the actual flood study profile showed it to be the same elevation as we showed it on the plan. If I may, I'd like to share my screen and show you the plan that we did.
Okay.
Can you all see the plan that I put up?
No,
Yes.
Yes.
clear as
It's
mud.
Great.
there, but
Great.
I'm gonna try moving it closer.
See, let's widen this a bit. And I'll just pull this up.
Oh, that looks better.
So
oh yeah, that's better.
that's better, yes. So shown in red here is our area. Sorry, I lost my cursor somewhere. Oops. The red area is the proposed area of trees and shrubs to be removed. This is part of our proposal to clear the area adjacent to the rear of the building and apply grass seed. We want to keep this open for access purposes and to allow sunshine to reach the building so it doesn't get all mossy. With regard to our response to the DEP comment that the preliminary FEMA line should be applied to our plan, the dotted line here, cutting off this little triangle here, was our original Zone A elevation at 19.1, sorry. And it just goes along the top of the bank there. When we digitized the Zone A from the preliminary FEMA plan, it did come up a bit further. You could see this blue dotted line, and it came up quite a bit. However, it is Hayes Engineering's opinion that that's irrelevant because the wetlands regulations require that the BLSF be determined by the elevation showed in the flood study, which is the 19.1 elevation. So that's our point of view, that the original line is still relevant to determination of the bordering land subject to flooding. In any
Libby?
case,
Libby, you just,
yes,
I mean, you keep saying 91. I think in your letter you have both 19.1 and 91.1.
19.
Yeah, you probably
I'm
want to,
sorry,
you might want to maybe reissue or something, just,
yes, our plan says 19.1.
Yeah, the letter does say 91.1 and 19.1.
Twice.
Interesting. I will look at that and correct it.
Dyslexic keyboard.
I appreciate that. In any case, we are working within area designated as bordering vegetated bordering land subject to flooding, but we're not changing any part of the bordering land subject to flooding, in that we're not changing the elevation, we are not introducing any impervious surfaces, we're not affecting the storage of flood at all. So whether it's down here at the original elevation presented or further up at the preliminary boundary, it doesn't really matter because we're not affecting the resource area. area is within the 100-foot riverfront area and the buffer zone. We're still working within those areas. And we're also proposing this little proposed berm out here to better direct traffic into the parking lot.
That's the small triangle by the road there?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes, this little triangle enclosed in red ink.
Libby, could you describe that a little more? Because I'm pretty sure there's a handicap ramp right where that triangle meets the building. And is there a sidewalk there too? How do you plan to have a lump in those spaces?
See if we can't focus in on it. So the area we're looking at, there's an area of gravel and grass just adjacent to the sidewalk. This is the sidewalk here next to the street. And then you have this little area of grass and stone that's adjacent to the flagpole. The ramp I think you're talking about is a little bit further in. So I don't believe
Yeah.
we're affecting that.
It says concrete ramp there, but the entrance to that is where your cursor just was, to the right. So I'm pretty sure somebody coming from the parking lot to use the handicap ramp needs to go through that little, it's not a sidewalk, but that little stretch of gravel between the grass and the concrete ramp, where you have a little bit of berm there. How else would somebody go from the parking lot to the ramp?
So I can clarify.
Oh, sure.
What you have is a line that's been established by the DOT from the point of the handicap ramp out to the control joint in the sidewalk. They're suggesting a berm go in up to the sidewalk for the handicap ramp, which was 18 inches at the sidewalk by the street and goes to nothing at the ramp. So you're talking probably a distance of about 3 inches that would be impacted, if any, at the sidewalk. And I don't think that the sidewalk will be affected at all.
I'm not sure if we're talking about the same thing. Could you share that again, Libby?
Oh, yeah.
And zoom in on that same area? It's not a wetlands issue, but.
Yeah, so if you look at a picture on Google Maps, which I assume it's still correct, there is like, I'm going to guess, 3 feet of asphalt next to the concrete ramp that extends towards the street. So I think what you're saying is if the berm goes over that directly to the concrete, there's no way to get from the parking area over in a wheelchair or something.
park and if they're
Right.
trying to get to the ramp, this would force them to come down into the sidewalk. You know what I mean? I'm talking
There's
about
no
this
change in
sliver.
elevation, it's just basically putting in berm to hold back the grass from the paved area. So it would be basically leaving that sidewalk alone that comes up beside the ramp. It's uninterfered with.
Okay, it's drawn as a berm there, which means an elevated area.
The berm is the point that was established at that corner by DOT to be the guiding point. So what they're showing is the area that's affected by it, but the berm doesn't have to go across the sidewalk for the handicap, beside the handicap ramp.
Okay.
So you're saying the berm is a DOT requirement?
The DOT wants us to make sure that the driveway is 11 feet going in, 11 feet going out. And in order to do that, we need to take that 18-inch and just kind of extend the line. And then it becomes 11 and a half or 12 feet wide, lane in and one out equally.
Did they require that as part of some kind of permit?
That was their requirements in order to get their approval. We've gotten their approval provided we meet those standards.
So you did get a, I forget what it's called.
A traffic study, you mean, or?
Yeah, because I thought the DOT found this problematic last time.
Yeah, but then they were supposed to apply for, let's see, where is it?
We've got approval from the DOT, it's been submitted to the planning board, and it's been registered.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're wetlands and flood zone. I mean, I get, you have a good point, they shouldn't screw it up, but I would think if they mess up the handicap access, I would believe that would be a planning board.
Maybe we could move
Building
the post
inspector.
office then.
Pardon?
Maybe we could move the post office then.
Yeah, my only concern, and I brought this up last time, is water going to flow differently if that berm catches it or something like that? That would be my question.
Right, because it's all impervious.
Is it really a berm, or is it more just extending the parking lot?
It's basically removing the grass and putting in a gravel type of area for car traffic to go down, so they're not driving over the grass. It's just changing the line.
I mean, if you look at a picture on Google Maps, which is, according to Google, is 5 years old, but the grass basically doesn't grow for the first 2 feet on the edge of the driveway because everybody's
People are
driving
driving
over it.
over it.
So my guess is they're not really, like, in my mind, a berm means some sort of elevation.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, and like a wheelchair trying to get over that.
Yeah, I don't think they're really, or-
Okay.
it seems like you're just hot topping
We're
it.
trying to do a separation point between the grass and pavement.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it does seem the way it's drawn, I mean, it sort of does imply like you're gonna block that off, which is the issue. But doesn't sound like in practice, that's not what the plan is.
I'm sorry?
Your plan doesn't seem, or what you plan to do is not necessarily exactly what's drawn there. You're not,
I understand that that's confusing, yes. But the point that they had to establish from in order to get the line from the control joint and the sidewalk is to line up with that rear corner,
right,
that outside corner of the actual rise and the ramp.
right, because that point's not moving
If we
anywhere.
turn around and we cut it back to the corner of the sidewalk, then we were closer to that narrowing of the lane. So, I mean, and the area at the street sidewalk to the control joint is probably 18 inches. And you've got 20 feet to go back to the sidewalk that goes up by the ramp.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it
so
all looks very
we're
flat
saying the-
photo.
Well, for the most part, it is relatively.
It's
the same elevation.
19.1.
You're not gonna have a topographical change that goes like the bank at the river.
Right.
I think we were just thrown off by the use of the berm. When we think of a berm, we're actually,
And we're using the language that was presented to
Yeah,
us from the
okay.
DOT.
okay.
Maybe you can send that to us, just for our reference on
We
it.
have it in record with the planning board already.
Yeah, but I can't, if you can just send it to us, because I didn't see it in the files, so I don't know what they did with it. Any other questions on this part of it from anybody?
I apologize, I wasn't here at the last meeting, but on where's the north-south? So on the northwesterly corner of the red area indicating where the grass is gonna be, in the back of the building, you have that extending over the riverbank. I assume you're not filling that, that's just sort of an area to say, here's the area we're cutting the shrubs and whatnot?
That's correct. We're cutting down the, shrubs and, saplings that are in there. what we discussed last time was that, we wouldn't take out the entire, trunk, but just cut it, to the ground and leave the roots.
Right, okay, thank you.
And so and then, when we put, loam and seed on there, that'll be, covered with a blanket or jute netting or something to stabilize it.
So we're actually putting loam on that slope, and we're hoping it
Just,
Thanks.
just enough for the, yeah.
cover the stumps? Okay. How do we all feel about
Yeah,
that?
to cover the stumps.
I feel like it's gonna end up in the river.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm thinking.
It's gonna end up in the
If it
river.
rains, yes.
I mean,
But they're gonna put they said they were gonna put a
You're gonna mat
blanket.
it down.
Yeah, yeah,
if it grows quick enough, then it'll be stable-ish.
yeah.
That's a very steep slope there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Still
is.
end up in the river. It's a cliff.
So how do we prevent that from happening? I mean,
Well, we can allow it or not in our conditions.
obviously, we didn't do a site walk because of the snow, but
Yeah,
when they built the bridge, they put a lot of riprap around there. I mean, is that actually, are we filling on top of the riprap, or is it all just?
no, I don't think so.
Basically, what we're talking about is we're trying to clear the new growth that has come in within the Marafi barrier that was there from the last clearing,
Right,
and basically get it down so that we can put some high proceeding growth grass and keep the light at the building and make it easy to maintain.
right.
Right now, it's become a dumping ground. There's a half refrigerator, a small half refrigerator in there, there's a bunch of construction trash behind the building, a fence that's hiding some of that,
Yeah,
and a whole bunch of saplings and stuff that are just new growth that's come in.
right.
It's been 5 years since I've been at this and watched this stuff just come on. I'm just concerned by the time I get to it, that you'll have a 100-year-old tree there, and I won't be able to do anything,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. They're Norway maples we established last time.
I did take a video, a couple of videos that I sent to Libby, and I think she sent in, that showed it the week before the walkthrough was supposed to go, to show where the old Marafi barrier actually is, and the area that we're talking about. We're not changing grade, we're not changing elevation, we're just trying to scratch it off, take down the saplings that are filtering
Right.
up, get rid of the honeysuckle, the Japanese knotweed, the invasive stuff, and put some hydroseed down to keep it under control.
And then the intent is to keep it mowed regularly, keep it maintained, so it doesn't come back again, okay?
So I would still like to go have a site visit personally.
Yeah, I don't know what a Marafi barrier, is that what I don't know what that is.
It's the old silt fence that was there from the last time. It's knocked down, it's laying on the ground, and it's pretty much the same perimeter that we're dealing with at this point.
That's more than 5 years, isn't it?
It's more than 5 years since this thing has been going on,
No, since the silt fence was put up there.
probably, yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just feels like it's been,
Well,
that went up when the remediation was going on, right?
I don't know whether it was done then or it was done after that.
That was done after that, Terry.
The silt fence went up after the
Yes,
remediation?
yes.
That seems backwards.
No, the cleanup, it took place like about 10 or 12 years ago.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm thinking of.
That was all just in once they took the tanks out, then it was inside the buildings, they had the pipes. They didn't.
Anyway, we're drifting.
So, the problem is the snow on the ground. We don't know, all we can do is schedule something before our next meeting, which I would propose as late as possible, which would be Saturday, March 8th. And hopefully the snow will, because right now you can't really see it. And it's difficult to get an idea. I mean, the video, I don't know if you saw the video, but the video is fine, but it doesn't really give you the bigger picture of the site and the steepness of the bank or anything like that I'd like to see. So I would propose that we schedule a site visit for Saturday, March 8th, and hopefully we can do that.
Can I suggest that maybe we see what happens with tomorrow's rainstorm? And if it clears out, it might be just because it could snow another foot a week from now.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm proposing.
Right, but
you know,
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying is, if it clears out enough so that we could do it, say, this weekend, or Monday or Tuesday, rather than, if it cleared out and then we had another foot of snow 10 days from now, then we'd be right back where we started.
We're just kicking the can down the road.
Yeah, and I think we should be poised, if there's an opening, to jump through that opening. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
we can, because that's
Depending
not,
on
it's
all
not a
of the
formal
commissioners.
meeting, right? A site walk, that we can do that at the spur of the moment.
We can't discuss it, but we can observe.
yeah, but
No,
it's-
no, I mean, we can schedule, can't we say it rains a whole bunch, and then
Close
Friday
up.
night, we get an email, hey, site walk tomorrow morning? There's no, like.
Yeah, they're not open to the
meeting.
public.
Right.
Unless they're invited by the applicant, so that should be okay, right?
Well, I mean,
I mean,
They have a
I
work
personally
schedule
don't
on
think the snow's
weekends.
gonna disappear, but if it does, it would be a shame to miss an opportunity, because we could easily get another foot of snow on March 7th.
well, I mean, that's the problem. You know, it says right in the bylaw that we are not required to even look at stuff during the season. So we're not required to make any decisions on this until we can see the site without snow.
Right, and I don't think we're giving up that right necessarily. I mean, the reality is, even if we approved everything, they couldn't do the work till after April 15th.
so I don't,
So, I mean, we're not delaying anybody or
not in
anything
a
like
rush
this.
either.
Right.
But no, I think, but to Terry's point, if it happens to get clear,
Yeah, if we get
We
a
should maybe
window,
take the
we should take
opportunity.
advantage of it.
It's just, you know, can we really do that?
What do you mean, can we?
Well,
Communication-wise,
right, and some of us work on weekends, or at least one of us does.
We could just schedule an earlier date and then a backup date.
yeah. I,
That's what you're saying, right?
Well, I'm actually saying we should just be poised for when there's an opening.
every
know,
morning,
but-
he's down there at
I
9 AM.
understand.
how can we be poised, Terry?
Sorry?
How can we
I'm
be
not
poised?
Planning my life around a site visit at,
It's a matter
Well,
of
there's
getting
seven-
like,
there-
one,
Eight of us,
two.
we don't all need to be there.
Well, but it would be, we're all
And we're
here.
Plan it.
unlikely to all be there, because it's never actually happened
but we're not,
at a site walk.
we're not in a rush, because nothing can happen until April anyway.
Yeah. There is that, I mean, even if it, yeah, I mean, if it, say March 8th is a blowout, okay, then you schedule it before the April meeting, you still can't do work till April 15th, even if it's approved, so.
Just being an advocate for, there's probably planning that could happen well before we tell them they can work.
Yeah,
So,
So we're trying to help, we're trying to be accommodating, if it's not overwhelmingly.
Quite honestly, this is the last thing I need in order to fulfill our obligations to the planning board before we're now allowed to go and file for a building permit. So we can't do anything until we get through this barrier. So the only thing that this happens is this is just delaying the application for a building permit.
It's not just delaying doing the work that you're wanting to do, it's delaying the whole process.
Delaying the whole process.
Yeah.
is the, well, this is, I was gonna ask, is the berm the issue with the building permit as opposed to putting grass in the back? But it doesn't matter, because it's on one
It's
application.
all one, yeah.
So it's not like we can vote on part of it and that kind of thing, is what I'm getting at.
Anyway, if you want to set a date and then a backup date, I think that's probably better than just saying March 8th or come what may. Literally. So how about, like the 25th? Is that a Saturday?
It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday. Good job, Tara. 2 weeks before the 8th is
The
the
22nd.
22nd? Okay. So how about
That day.
preliminary Feb. 22nd?
No.
Only if we did it at 8 o'clock in the morning on the 22nd. Mike and
by
I have
me.
a full day.
Fine by me.
Okay. Are you okay with that?
That's fine.
Feb. 27, back up March 8th.
8 AM site walk,
That's my final offer.
301.
So our main sticker point is this bank in here, correct?
Well,
I mean, if, over here, they're saying they're not gonna be changing any elevation.
no, but you want to see the
Yes,
impact.
I mean, we could see this
Backup date.
probably quicker than we're gonna see that, but
Can we do similar on the 8th, 8 AM?
Sure, well, yes for me.
Yes, for me.
Sure.
It's up to everybody else.
So, now, how do we decide if we can see it on the 22nd?
If there's no snow?
If there's no snow on the ground?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's, we gotta be able
Is
to
that
see
a
it.
question or a?
No, I'm just saying that's,
I think,
What's our dates?
I mean, I go by there 3 or 4 times a week on foot.
If we see a shadow, then we'll go with it.
I live up the street,
8
so.
AM? Yep.
It's not gonna happen.
Or the 20.
Snow's not gonna be gone,
No,
not with those
it's either the
temperatures.
22nd or the 8th. Oh, sorry.
Even with a lot of rain.
There's only 2 days.
so
of
the
rain.
chair will have to communicate with everybody the night
Whatever,
before.
crap, old crap, whatever.
And I can scout it and let you know, Mike.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll look at it too, I'm not worried about that, it's just,
Go over that berm a couple times.
notifying everybody.
Walk over that berm a couple times.
that we're not gonna
too, make
be
sure it's
there.
level.
Stumble over it.
That would be the worst case, is you didn't hear that the site walk isn't happening and you showed up. All right, so February
That'd be the
22nd
worst
at 8 AM with a backup date of March 8th at 8 AM. You're good with those dates, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody else, no one else has a problem with those dates?
I
After
will
the
be
22nd.
gone on March 8th and that week, but I'll try for the 22nd if there's no snow.
Yeah,
I'm on vacation the 22nd.
Move to continue the hearing to March 12th.
Second.
any questions on that motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, passes.
Sorry.
Okay.
You know, it's been a long process. It'll eventually come to an end.
All bleeding stops eventually, so they say.
Okay.
It'll be nice to clean that up.
That it does.
Well, this is part of it. It'd be nice to be able to get the downtown to look the way it should.
That should be a bar.
Go shovel. Be nice if guys sucked it up.
With a roof deck,
With a deck over the river.
With a deck over the river.
with moors for the boats.
Parking for
Anyway,
all of us. Okay, next on the agenda
So sweet,
is,
Chloe.
Thanks for taking our picture.
You're welcome. I'm glad to hear that everybody's shown up.
It was just for you.
Just for
Literally.
you.
next on the agenda is a notice of intent at 452 Main Street for a gas line installation and parking lot
It's light reading.
Yeah.
filed by BSC Group. And so I'll make a motion to open the hearing for the notice of intent for the aforementioned site filed by Boston Gas and BSC Group.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So we have remotely, sorry, I didn't
Hello.
catch your name. Hi.
My name is Honora, Honora Lovelace to sell with BSC Group.
Okay,
I'm here on behalf of the Boston Gas Company to present this NOI at 452 Main Street. The NOI includes the installation of 128 linear feet of new gas line, an installation of a prefab building on a concrete pad for a new low-pressure relief valve, and the installation of some paved parking spaces at 452 Main Street. The work is proposed within the 200-foot riverfront area, bordering land subject to flooding, and the 100-foot buffer zone to BVW. There are some permanent impacts proposed within BLSF and the 100-foot buffer, and in the packet is compensatory flood storage to be replicated via some minor grading around the site and in other sections of the developed area. Approximately 100 feet of the new line is within riverfront area, and then the new parking, building, and gas line are located within BLSF, and a portion of the new building is within the buffer zone. So the activities that this NOI describes include some temporary disturbance to the roadway surface of Main Street and and the lawn at 452 Main Street. And then there is some cutting of the pavement, excavating of earth, and trenching for that gas main line. This is approximately 18 inches wide trenching with a clearance of 12 inches for the gas main and surface. So it's usually about 2-ish feet below. And then the crews will backfill that trench with any excavated material and restore both the road and the lawn to pre-existing conditions.
Honora, are you looking
yes.
at a plan that you could share screen and walk us through what you're saying?
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
There's in the book, if
I
you're
have-
about,
Yeah, she's looking at it.
you see the one with the little red
Yes,
line? Yeah, okay.
So there are two different plans. There's the one that has the stormwater, but I will just go through the environmental resource map first.
Perfect.
Okay, are you seeing the resource map?
Yep, thank you.
Okay. So here is the building, the 10 by 12 prefab building. And then that will be on top of the concrete foundation pad. This is the new gas line that will go through the lawn to attach to existing gas line within the road of Main Street. And then the proposed parking spaces are here to the, is this north? I think the north, yeah, of the station. And then this is the water department building.
So isn't that the bike trail right there? Where is that in relation to?
The upper right.
Yeah, real.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the, I believe it's the rail
Oh, okay,
trail
okay.
here.
Yeah, that's the reason for putting in the parking spaces, because people are just parking on the side of
Oh,
the.
that's why they're putting the
yeah.
parking spaces in?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Now, how come they're not
Yes.
being placed where people are sort of already parking?
The parking spaces were agreed upon between Boston Gas Company and the town as sort of this being the best place for them.
Okay.
I think it gets them off the street, and so they have to go down the driveway a little bit
Yeah.
Right,
and
right.
park there.
Well, they'll have to put up signs or something. Someone will, or the town, just to not park on the side of the road, but
Yeah.
we'll figure it out.
Well, that's nice that there's parking spaces. Okay,
Yeah, because it's pretty heavily used, so
Yeah.
this is a good thing.
and that's the terminus right there, currently. All right, well, this is a lot to read through.
So when you're putting the
Do you have any questions?
on the prefab building, it's going on a slab. It looks like, other than the topography that you're changing to increase the flood storage, the building itself seems really not altering much of the terrain there, is that correct?
No, the building will be on top of the slab, and so the slab is really the only alteration, and then the building is above. It will actually be above the flood storage.
Right, but my point is the slab that you're putting down, you're probably just scraping away the grass and putting a slab. It doesn't seem that.
Yes,
There's no
yes,
significant
just,
topography changes.
A couple inches, I believe 6 inches into the ground, putting gravel, putting a slab, and then the building on top.
Okay. So really, the only, other than putting in the pipeline, that disturbance while you're doing that, and then the building, the only other sort of disturbance to the grass area there is digging something out to change the topography for the flood storage? Is that a correct statement? And the parking lot?
Yes, the parking lot will be, the area here is relatively flat, so, hopefully not too much digging to get those parking spaces in, and same with the building. And then the proposed mitigation would actually be behind the building back here, the flood storage, just adding some extra, and that one I do have as well. Where's that map? Here it is. So here is where the regrading of the area right here to just increase the flood storage back here. So not just doing a big ditch, but just kind of smoothing some of this down.
Yeah, it's pretty swampy back there. When they mow, there are times after rains where you can see 4-inch deep tire tracks from the lawnmower.
You're saying out in front?
Yes.
No, in the back.
Oh, in the back?
Oh, the back is, it's
So-
it's almost
How
wetland.
close is it to our BBW?
So Terry, taking a look at that, where that parking lot is, don't you think that's kind of in that swampy area, or the wet area where the grass is?
You mean where the proposed parking?
Yes.
No, that's actually the driest area in the
Yeah.
whole site.
I think that's on the other side.
The really wet stuff is back in this area.
I would imagine back where this, because there's the wetland line around here, so back here.
Right, this, right this area right here.
Can't see.
It's right where your cursor is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there it is, I mean, if you go there, your feet will sink in mud,
Into your boots.
as do the lawnmowers. So I've actually worked with the town to allow some of that to regrow to natural area, because there's just no point in trying to grow grass there.
So you're talking about behind the current building?
Behind the building,
Okay.
in the kind of the southwest.
Southeast.
Southwest.
No, southeast.
Southwest. Over here.
So southwest or southeast would be,
Oh, okay, I see, yeah.
Southeast.
So where,
Yeah, it's a little corner where it's indicated that, I mean, it shows that there's wetlands where they've actually been mowing for years.
okay. So
On,
the roadway is not shown on this map?
Yeah, it is.
yeah, it's right here.
Where?
This map?
No, not that roadway, the driveway into the property.
Oh,
Yeah, you can see it on the
Is that
one
the
she has
square?
right there on the screen.
it's
Or-
this.
Right along
You can see it, it's right
where
next
the
to
parking lot-
where the parking lot is, where
It's just not called out, and it kind of blends in, but it's.
yeah, so it looks like it's here. It goes over in front of the building and then slightly to the side of the
and then
building.
it curves around and there's a bit that goes here. It's
all
much,
right.
it's a tiny bit lighter than the rest of the.
Yeah, all right, I see it now.
Oh, here, okay, so it's only 22 feet? Wait,
Yeah, it's not long, it's just.
no, so the area, so you're 20, so the proposed
Okay, see on this, it doesn't.
work
show
is
it.
22 feet from the brook?
That's fine.
Is that right?
So those are right.
No, the brook is
The pink line
down
is
here.
25.
It's within the 200-foot.
Oh, the pink line is
buffer
the
zone.
25. I was trying to figure this out. This
The pink line is the 25,
Okay.
and no
Now
work
look
is
at the
occurring within the
scale.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually listed on the,
Oh.
in the legend. It-
Yeah, I see.
With it's this wide.
There's so many pages I was trying to figure out. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I'd rather her walk us through it.
Okay.
What's the priority habitat that's there in orange? Did you-
We did not consult with Natural Heritage since no work was occurring in the priority habitat.
Oh, off by the rail trail?
The orange hatching marks is priority habitat.
Ribs there, road.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
It's gotta be
turtle,
Proven's known for their.
habitat, and you notice how it goes into the trail. None of the work is taking place on this parcel in the habitat, but the part that goes into the community trail, that was already mitigated.
Right. Just thinking about that new flood storage area, if it should be right there in an area that's already low and wet, and in priority habitat, or if that should be somewhere else,
It's grass right now.
grassy.
They mow it.
It's right by the building, though, that they're gonna, you're maybe,
Now, what's plan, are you building a little retention area, or what's the proposal?
It's just proposing to change the elevation slightly in the back here
What does that mean?
to
Take it
account
out?
for, yes, just smooth it out. So let me move back to that mapping. Here. Oh, there are too many pages. Okay. It's, here we go. So here, it kind of, at the top of here shows the flood elevation of what is being lost. So we can see here that the flood storage here is 20.6 feet. So this line right here is the 19-foot elevation line. So we're in, sorry, let me zoom in a little bit more. So we're in that 19 feet for both the parking lot and the building, or the pad, really. And so the proposal here is where the current 19-foot is behind the building, kind of just moving that up a bit, and this will increase flood storage by 822 cubic feet to account for the loss of, I think it's 400, about a little over 489 cubic feet. So between the parking spaces, which are 315 cubic feet of lost flooded storage, and the building, which was 174, this grading just right here along, just moving this elevation line from here up does 822 cubic feet. So I know that there was flood storage proposed in different areas. This is what was presented and approved by the water department.
And then you said you're paving those parking spaces?
Yes, they will be paved.
I mean, it's close to where the
the depression
swampiest-
is, yeah.
The wet, the absolute wettest stuff is right here, and they're looking at here, so it's close.
Well, part of it's gonna be in the 25-foot BBW buffer too. It's too bad that the wetland line isn't on the map we're looking at right now.
Gonna be?
No work is within within 25 feet
Yeah,
of the
I think they
BVW.
arranged for it to just be outside of the,
Oh, okay.
It is, yeah, it's just outside of it. I think it comes, I know it's not on this map, but I believe it just misses by probably 10, maybe 5 to 10 feet.
On the wetland side, but not the Argilla Brook side.
Yes, within the 200-foot buffer zone of Argilla Brook, but is not within the 25-foot, none of the work is within 25 feet of the brook. So here, this
20 by 20 by.
has the, so the pink line is the 25-foot.
Yep. Did you put all these together?
Sure looks close.
These
The-
maps?
Yes,
Wow, this is an impressive package.
Do you, and I forgive, sorry if I missed this, but do you propose any sort of silt fencing or anything for any of this work? Or a lot of it, do you think like the piping and stuff, that's all gonna be done in one day where it'll be, backfilled and then, a day or two later, you're gonna hot top it kind of thing?
They have-
yes, so there will be erosion controls in place before any work is done. In terms of the trenching, it is usually open during the day, closed at night, so, there will be some erosion controls while they're working, but, everything will be closed during, only open while work is happening and then closed.
I mean,
Is-
topographically, there's probably
It's not very,
less than a foot difference from the road to all the way in the back, right? I don't see a line, I don't see a.
Yes, it looks like the road is about 20 feet elevation about, and the back here is like 19, 18
Yeah,
feet.
I mean, that,
It's just grading.
there are a lot of candidates for erosion control. This doesn't
one
seem
of
to be a really urgent one.
I just worry about the brook. There's otters that live in there.
Yeah, I think they have to.
If there's enough water to
But
come
yes,
down.
they will have sediment controls
I don't
in
know why
place,
we're telling them
for
not
any
to.
digging, any displacing of earth.
so should we assume you have a section about the best practices from National Grid?
I do, yes. It should be in the narrative.
Yeah, no, it's in there. What I was gonna say is, my
Okay.
assumption is because you don't, or at least I haven't found a drawing that specifically states where all these things are going. You're just gonna follow your best practices and implement it on site as required? Or,
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and we can certainly submit that to you if you would like, of where those go.
Yeah, I think that wouldn't be a bad idea.
I think that would be really nice.
Okay.
What are you gonna do with the, so is there gonna be any material moved for that flood storage area? Behind the building?
Any material moved
Removed.
in,
Digging?
yes, in order to get the 19 feet elevation, and it will be removed.
So will that be stockpiled somewhere or carted away right away?
It will be carted away. It will be taken away.
How big is the gas pipeline?
I know that the trenching is 18 inches. The gas pipeline, I don't have those measurements off the top of my head. Typically, they're 4 to 6 inches in diameter.
All right, so there's not
I
a
do
lot
not,
of cubic feet of material that's gonna be generated.
no, not left it,
Most of
no.
it's gonna go right back in.
Yes.
do we wanna ask them to make sure everything is removed every single day, so they're not stockpiling, or if they do stockpile, that they control it? Or what does everybody think?
I think we can put that in the order of condition, but I
Well-
think this is a day operation.
Yeah.
Well,
at
that's,
that.
I'm thinking they have a dump truck, they just load it in the
Yeah.
dump truck, but we should probably tell them you have to do that.
Yeah, I think order of condition.
What's the expected duration of this project?
Construction, I don't anticipate to be more than 3 months, 6 months, you know, depending on when not daily, but from start to finish, depending on when crews can be out
You
there.
gotta put the pad in,
Let it cure,
let it cure.
but that's, you know, a week.
Yeah, well, I think she just said that, you know, the whole thing would probably take months, but they're gonna be going in and doing, you'll
Day
need
here, day
separate
there.
time for asphalt.
It has to be complete by November 1st for our seasonal restriction.
Yeah, so they've got,
Right, they have a couple of months, but they just need to make sure they're done.
yeah. Sounds like it's doable. If they start
Doesn't seem like a
April.
big project.
No, at best, it's a few little projects.
Couple wheelbarrows and a shovel and.
I mean, it's gonna take them 3 months, so it's not a small project.
No,
But
they've
that's
got,
just because of.
they've
doing
got
different
over
things.
6 months during the non-seasonal restriction period to get the work done.
6.5.
Pouring a pad is concrete, or putting the
Yeah.
parking lot
It
is
seems like it's
asphalt,
about
so it's
5 or
different
6 actual
things.
work days.
Yeah,
I guess
just scheduling, I think, more than anything else.
But it would make sense.
Yep.
Given that with each operation, you clean up and leave it the way it's not gonna pose any risk.
invasive species,
That's
are we
order conditions.
going to be allowed to go through and read through this? Or are we making a decision tonight to allow?
No, I'd like to go, have us go look at the site.
Okay, good.
I mean, we might as well do the same thing. February 22nd and March 8th.
How are we gonna squeeze?
We could do like 8:45.
I don't think the snow is as much of an issue for this because it's all open. There's not much to see.
Yeah, but I mean, all we need to do is see it before the next meeting, so.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
8:45 on February 22nd and March 8th.
Can you be there, Honora?
March 8th.
Or February 22nd?
Yes, February 2nd, I can,
22nd.
yes.
22nd?
22nd, yes.
February
I can be
22nd at
there.
8:45 works for you? And then
Yes.
if the 8th doesn't, we can come up with another backup date. Those are,
Okay.
we have a backup date in case the snow is still there, you know what I mean?
If I cannot be there, I can have somebody else there on March 8th. I can make the 22nd, though.
So, is your contact information in here somewhere?
Yes.
Okay, so unless you hear from me, we'll assume the February 22nd is on as late
Okay.
as Friday by noon. If there's just too much snow for us, particularly at the other site, then we'll postpone it until March 8th.
Okay.
Any other questions? Nope. Okay, I'll make a motion to continue the hearing till March 12th, 2025 on 452 Main Street, notice of intent.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
That was great, thank you. This is awesome.
They have a excellent best management practices in here. Excellent. And I'm gonna cut it out
You're gonna steal it?
and put it on our website as an
Yes.
example.
You should maybe ask them first.
Well, I think they're
Yeah, I
public.
I thought the same thing when I was looking at it. They're like very well.
Yeah.
Diagrams are good, the detail's good.
Yeah,
She did a fantastic job.
okay. So we don't have any other RDAs or public meetings.
Let me get my little loop-de-doops. Spiral. My spiral is unspiraled.
Next on the agenda is number 3, document and forms update. So I did get all the input for the 2 documents, and I updated them. What permit do I file for, and step-by-step guide. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Terry. And I put pretty much everything that you said went in there. And so those are now posted on our website. And right now, I'm working on some of the other, most of our public-facing forms are done. So the rest of the stuff is not that difficult. Some of it's our own forms that just need to be updated here and there. So hopefully by next meeting, I'll have some more of that stuff done. The Trails Enhancement Project is, I think that I mentioned this before, not 100% sure. This is a joint project between the Recreation Committee and us. CPA proposal asking for approximately $69,000 or $66,000, somewhere around there. This, part of this is to replace the expired CPA project that we originally had working with the Bagnell School. I know that Bill did some work on that, but kind of faded away because the teachers at Bagnell left, and so that really wasn't going anywhere, and the CPC wanted to close it out, so, because it had expired. So they closed it out, but like I say, I worked with the rec to, instead of the way it was, to work with the rec instead of with Bagnell. And so we're gonna focus on the 6 major sites with trails, which include R4, Meadow Pond, VZ Park, Center Street Greenway, and Town Forest, and also the community trail, and also the water department trail along the river there that goes to their well. So what it is adding infrastructure, benches, signage, trail markers, trail map signs, kiosks, repairing some bridges, and a couple other fancier signs along the community trail. At our next meeting, I'll bring you, or I'll email you the updated proposal that has all the numbers on it. But this passed, Community Preservation Committee passed it, so it will go on to town meeting. I think it will be well received because it doesn't require too much, it's gonna be done mostly with volunteers. So, you know, we have our stewardship program, so this is kind of working with the rec committee to expand the stewardship program. So we've got a steward, volunteer steward, who's gonna be in charge of each one of these sites. We've already got somebody doing Meadow Pond, we've got VZ Park taken care of, and Town Forest, so we really don't need to get too many more for those, so we're in pretty good shape. But it's gonna provide the tools and the infrastructure that volunteers will be able to do. And the hope is to have standardized trail markers, standardized signs, standardized benches, all this stuff standardized across all 6 sites. And will take probably 2 to 4 years to accomplish. So I'm excited about it, because we always have people that want to volunteer, but we don't always have the tools or the lumber or whatever. You know, if you've been in Meadow Pond, you know some of those bridges that we built, they're degrading, and they need to be either rebuilt or repaired. So this is gonna provide some of the lumber that will enable that to be done. So it's a lot of enhancements to the trails. Like I say, I'm excited about it.
Did you say that's CPA funds?
Yes,
Great.
yeah, so it just needs to be voted at approved at town meeting.
And Mike, you were gonna provide a letter saying that the water department would not be expected to.
Yeah, that's in there. I got that letter from Colin.
Perfect.
I did find out, Terry, that the water department doesn't own that, doesn't have control of that property, though.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Which property is this? I don't know.
along the Merrimack River, it
Pines?
extends, if you go down behind Town Hall,
Oh.
straight behind Town Hall.
Yeah, we walk over there all the time with the dog.
Yeah. You know, it's a beautiful trail,
Yeah.
but there's nothing there. You don't really, there's no markers, kiosks,
There's a
anything
lot of
like that.
invasive species that I would like to attack.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it has some of that, too.
So who has control? Is that just the board of selectmen that?
Yeah, it's town-controlled. See, even the water department didn't really know that. The two of the members, not Terry, didn't even know there was a trail there. That's how bad, you know, some of our trails exist, but nobody even knows about them.
There's some really special plants in the river along that stretch,
Yep,
submerged aquatic vegetation. It'd be nice to have some signage about that. so
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
even know, because you can just walk to the end of the boat ramp and see it.
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be
It'd
nice.
be nice to teach people about that.
Yeah,
That sounds like a great project.
maybe you could have some input on that.
Yeah, happy to.
That would be great.
So, next is the conservation agent update. There hasn't been too much incoming stuff, very slow stream of work. We've got, so next month we'll have these two notice of intent. We should be able to close them out in March. And also have a RDA incoming on some town paving and resurfacing spots on streets that are within buffer zones. So that's all that we've got upcoming. So, it's been pretty measured, but, usually this time of year, things will start to pick up as people start to want to put on decks and everything else. They're starting to make their plans. So I'm sure that coming up in April, May, we're going to get a little busier on that end. But it's been manageable, not terrible. I wanted to give you a little update on VZ. So, as far as the VZ finances, we are holding our own. We're paying approximately $12,000 out of the revolving fund for the insurance in the state. I mean, the town's paying the other half. So, so the insurance now has gone up to $24,000 a year, which is just outrageous, and we're having to pay part of that. And so that's really cutting into our revenue. So we're looking to try to increase our revenue by having more weddings and also perhaps increasing the rent pricing. So hopefully, like I say, I don't think we're gonna we're holding our own in fiscal year '25, but, every year it's getting a little bit more difficult, unfortunately. But the building is in good shape. The lift has been done, it's being used. So the building is basically fully accessible by all. We had 3 new refrigerators that were purchased. The town bought those for us. And we received a bunch of used furniture from the library, put down in Pingree Hall. We're looking at rehab of the kitchens that the Friends of VZ are gonna pay for. The only problem that we've got, and I'm not quite sure how to deal with it, is our fire alarm system is 10 years old now, and the 52 sensors that are spread throughout the building are starting to fail. So what that means is they kind of go off in the middle of the night when everybody's asleep, and there's no reason for them to go off, just because they're failing, because they're 10 years old. They have about a 10-year-old life. So the estimate to replace them is about $12,000, and obviously, we don't have that kind of money. I did get a quote to do maybe only 20% of them for about $2,500, sorry. So probably gonna do that closer to the end of the fiscal year to make sure that we've got enough money to pay for it. So,
to be done by a licensed person?
yeah, it has to be done by the alarm company, unfortunately.
Not this company, but.
And some people had an idea about doing some kind of raffle or something to raise money, but for the Friends would do it, the Friends of VZ would do it. So they're kind of working on that, so we'll see.
Get your name on it.
The Friends also are gonna pay for replacing the barn roof because it's been leaking for about a year. So that's another good thing. So the Friends have taken a very active role in it, which is good. The reforesting program at the top, they're gonna be going into the second year come spring, so that's good. Got a lot of good press about that. And the Washington Street buffer, just recently did a little more work there as far as more landscaping to get rid of the invasive stuff and some of the brush that's next to 199 Washington Street, and also working on a sign design that's gonna be put in under that same CPA project. All that stuff, the Washington Street work, the reforesting, and some other tree stuff is all a CPA project. And finally, there's a flea market coming up by the Friends of VZ at the end of March. I think it's March 28th through 30th. Any questions on that stuff? So, it's my goal, I am kind of the commission's agent in liaison to VZ Park. So I want to make sure that we all know what's going on there, rather than me just knowing what's going on there. Because I think that in the past, I have been remiss in not always talking about what's going on there. Okay, any other, open discussion, any items for that? Last year, we did an Earth Day cleanup. I don't know if anybody's interested in that, but, we've got a couple of months to decide on that, so maybe think about, if you want to do that. If you remember last year, we did a cleanup on a Saturday morning over at Center Street, Lower Center Street there area. So we could do that again.
Before the poison ivy comes out.
I know the Council on Aging was talking about doing something, and now they have alternative plans.
Yeah.
So I think Jan and I were maybe gonna work on
Something, yeah.
something
Yeah.
for a cleanup.
Okay,
Jan Dempsey,
yeah,
you might know her.
yeah, I know it. Any other items for open discussion? Any other questions on any of this stuff?
Yeah, I have a question here.
Sure.
Why aren't we promoting more of a permeable surface for parking in or near wetlands?
Good question.
That is an excellent
But, I
question.
mean, a little late now for that for the gas thing.
not a little
they're
late.
Well,
putting in 7
Is it a little
spots.
late?
Far from a
No,
little
it
late.
is, we could say we want it to be permeable.
We have said that we
No,
want it to
Or
be
we could
permeable.
encourage it a lot
Yes.
more than just going with the asphalt, which leaches into the ground anyway.
Here's the argument that we get on it. These permeable surfaces that they use get clogged up after a while, and then they don't work. Which I don't believe that, but that's the argument that we would be presented with.
I would think, and I have no, yours may be very valid, also, Mike, what you've heard, I would think, from a maintenance standpoint, the water department is like, put asphalt. I don't wanna deal with gravel in the springtime from the plows getting moved around, or if you do like the tile thing where it's permeable, what if something gets dug up? They wanna put asphalt down and not think about it for the next 30 years. It's
Yeah.
like-
Well, yeah, everybody wants to do
Well,
that.
right, I mean, because I thought of bringing it up, and then I thought to myself, it's like, well, there's already some agreement in place between them and the water department and the selectmen, whoever decided it. You know, we could ask for it, doesn't mean we can't ask for it, but
We talked about it with the rail trail, and it's a maintenance problem when it's not as robust as asphalt, and it gets dug up.
And an accessibility issue too, because if you have
Wheelchair or something.
wheelchair,
well, yeah,
I
you'll
mean, you
notice
don't
one of those spaces
necessarily-
is a handicap.
Anyway, great
You
question.
don't necessarily have to go with like a gravel or something. You
Right.
can also do the.
Well, they've got those
interlocking
semi-permeable-
pavers, Then you pour the gravel in between that, which still allows for the water to go down through.
Yeah.
Well, you know, what I think about this one is, this is a good spot to test something like that,
Are you talking about this project?
yeah.
As far as the
because-
new parking spots?
Yeah, like test some kind of,
Because it's right next to the wetland.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying, it's a good place to try some permeable surface out there.
Especially, yes.
What exactly would we be testing?
I don't know.
What,
There's all you know, they come out with things
Science
all the
says you come up
time.
with a hypothesis, you make an observation, and then you
So
try to
maybe we look at some
interpret the
options.
results.
Yeah.
Are we, I mean, how are we gonna do that?
Well, all we need to do
Go-
is see what the options are.
No,
don't
that's
even know
not,
what
that's
the
not
options are.
scientific.
Well, this is something, we had this conversation recently, Stephanie and I, about for non-residential projects requiring LEED designs. So that we don't have to discover it, it's already out there. There's already protocols and best management practices for LEED, low impact, I forget what the rest of it stands for. That we could borrow from that,
Environmental
but it needs to be
design.
it needs to be documented somewhere, like in our bylaws or.
I
Thought of
especially in a
trying to
delicate
do it with
area like that.
every order of conditions is more
So-
work for us.
So you're saying we would, I mean, eventually, we could put it in the bylaw, but we would say all commercial or industrial filings should present a permeable surface in any paved areas, right? And
Yeah.
it's up to them to come back and say, well, because see, then it's not on us. We don't have to
Exactly.
say anything except, yeah, that would work or no. You know, they may come in back and say, there's nothing out there that works. Or they may come back and say, you know, this is a possibility, what do you think,
Right.
right? So we could say that on this. I mean, when you look at what the gas company did with this thing, they got plenty of money to go research what might be a permeable surface.
Yeah. Oh, you don't even have to tell them it has to be a permeable surface, because there might be other terminology out there that still meets LEED standards. It could just be that they have to meet low-impact design
Yeah.
standards. That takes it even more off of our lab.
Low-impact design,
You're
right.
still in the water.
Can't imagine that they're in
Did you
all
know
these
about
towns
it?
and cities
Yeah.
that they've already.
I mean, we knew it was coming.
They probably already have documentation.
I don't know who.
Our bylaws are very light on
Yeah.
that.
Up during a
Yeah,
Yes.
so,
I just think if otters are
Conflict of interest.
a sign of a healthy water source, that I would like to maintain that.
Me.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, like I
We
say.
have otters in that brook. Do we? Yes.
Someone gave,
them guidance. There's gotta be some quid pro quo for, we're giving you a bunch of land that you can put your stuff on in exchange for something.
Yeah, the town,
Right.
town
so Who did they
administrator.
negotiate with?
the town administrator,
Rebecca.
Rebecca.
yeah. But, you know, again, I think it's a small parking area. It would be good to, maybe they can propose something different.
It's worth asking him to propose it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's only 1,000 square feet or maybe
Right.
less.
It would be a nice place to start.
Well, and then if it worked, we could say, point to that, right?
But how do we know,
What is it that
how do we
works?
know that it's working?
Well,
I mean, I'm just curious, because again, you say, oh, if it works, does that mean it's parked, you can park on it and it doesn't disintegrate, or?
yeah, that's part of it, right?
But it
It
was-
would be performance and maintenance. So if it performs just like asphalt, essentially, and you're not, I guess, there's
You-
maybe a little incremental more maintenance than asphalt, but there's not an outrageous amount, then you could call that a success.
Right, but we're asking, that's how it operates. We're saying, oh, we want permeable because we think it'll be better for the environment. How do we measure what the water flow is?
Right.
from-
There could be a huge downpour. You could have 2 inches of rain in an hour and a half. And if you go out there 2 hours later, you can't tell the difference between a permeable pavement and a non-permeable, impermeable pavement. Maybe even less than 2 hours.
It might be less
Water's-
icy in the winter.
Might be more icy.
It'd probably be less icy, because there'll be less standing water.
Might be more standing water.
No, but if the water permeates into the thing and then stays in there because it freezes,
Then it's-
then it's gonna be more icy on top, whereas it might shed. Again,
Yeah, or it's
we're all
gonna
just-
run- it's
we're
gonna
just
run
talking
off
about
of a-
crazy, you know,
I like the
crazy
performance and
options,
maintenance.
But,
But asphalt is a petroleum product,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
does leach into the ground over time.
All right,
Yep.
and what are these permeable materials made out of? I mean, they're made out of like rubber, right? They're,
Yeah, I mean,
You can drive across,
not ecologically sound.
all right, we're gonna
Break
find
down
out
twice as
negative
fast as
Nellies. We got
asphalt.
5 negative Nellies down
They all
here.
leach into the groundwater.
Well,
All right, we'll do some research.
yeah,
All
These are all
right,
the dry ones you can
actually
drive
4,
on.
because Rich proposed the idea.
I know because I've gone over where I work and a few other places I've been.
Okay.
great question, though.
yes,
good discussion.
yes.
I-
Okay, any other items not reasonably anticipated?
Not that I can think of.
No,
Was it?
no.
Move to adjourn at 8:23.
Second.
Okay, so our next meeting is March 12th, 1 month from today.
Thanks, Jason.
And we've got those site visits, so be prepared. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
At
23.
8:23. And
Rich,
also,
I've had that very.